Dr. Sarah Chen stood at her observatory console, double-checking the readings for the fourth time. The object approaching Earth wasn't following any known orbital patterns, and its velocity changes defied the laws of physics, at least the physics humans understood. "Dr. Martinez, are you seeing this?" she called to her colleague, who was already rushing over with his own tablet, displaying the same impossible data. The object had decelerated from near-light speed to a controlled descent trajectory within seconds, without any sign of the massive energy discharge such deceleration should produce. Within hours, every major observatory and space agency on Earth was tracking the object. As it approached, its artificial nature became undeniable. The vessel, they could now clearly see it was a ship, was roughly the size of a small yacht with a seamless silver hull that seemed to ripple like liquid metal. The ship made no attempt at concealment, choosing instead to land in broad daylight on the grounds of the International Space Research Center in Geneva. Global media networks broadcast the landing live, their cameras capturing every moment as the ship settled onto the manicured lawn with impossible grace. Dr. Chen, who had been flown in along with other leading scientists, watched from behind a hastily erected security barrier as the ship's surface shifted, creating an opening that hadn't been visible seconds before. The assembled military forces tensed, but the being that emerged appeared almost disappointingly normal, humanoid, though with silver-tinted skin and slightly larger eyes than a human. What happened next would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. The alien raised its hand, activating what appeared to be a holographic display. The assembled humans expected first contact protocols or diplomatic overtures. Instead, their phones, tablets, and computers lit up with streams of data. The alien was broadcasting its ship's technical specifications, star charts, and basic cultural information about galactic society. It was a test, though not the kind the alien intended. The being, a scout from the stellar Concordat, was following standard procedure for contacting pre-FTL civilizations, share basic data, observe their reaction, and evaluate their readiness for galactic society over several months or years. What the scout didn't expect was the speed of humanity's response. Within 6 hours, teams of human scientists and engineers had not only processed the shared data, but had also begun accessing systems the scout hadn't intended to reveal. The ship's quantum encryption, considered unbreakable by Concordat standards, met its match in Earth's parallel development of quantum computing. By the time the scout realized the extent of human capabilities, they found their ship's systems had been thoroughly mapped and partially replicated in computer simulations. The humans had even discovered 3 critical vulnerabilities in the ship's defensive systems, vulnerabilities they politely pointed out during the first official diplomatic exchange. The scout sent an urgent message to the Concordat fleet waiting at the edge of the solar system: species classification error. Humans are not pre-FTL developmentally. Evidence suggests parallel technological advancement along unexpected paths. Recommend immediate diplomatic engagement. Warning: information security protocols inadequate for this species. As the scout transmitted their warning, Dr. Chen and her colleagues were already drawing up proposals for improving the efficiency of the alien ship's propulsion system. Humanity's first step into galactic society wasn't one of humble learning, it was one of innovative teaching. Ambassador Zilix of the stellar Concordat stood before the hastily assembled diplomatic fleet's command staff, their silver skin reflecting the soft light of the briefing room. "The humans have already mastered our translation matrix," they announced, causing a ripple of disbelief among the gathered officials. Not only that, but they've improved it to account for emotional subtext. The improvements hadn't come from their most advanced research facilities or government labs. Instead, a team of graduate students from a small university in Singapore had cracked the code while ordering late-night takeout. They'd compared the original translator's output to human languages and realized it was missing something crucial: context. Dr. Emily Rodriguez, the newly appointed human ambassador, demonstrated this during the first official meeting. While the Concordat representatives spoke in carefully measured diplomatic phrases, she responded with idioms and jokes, all of which their improved translator rendered perfectly. The humans hadn't just learned the Concordat's language, they'd taught the machines to understand human culture. But that's not the most concerning development. Xalix continued, bringing up a holographic display. Somehow, they discovered the existence of the Galactic Library. The display showed multiple access attempts from Earth, each using a method that shouldn't have been possible with their technology level. What the Concordat didn't realize was that humans had centuries of experience breaking into secure systems. A team led by Dr. Marcus Wong had approached the Galactic Library's security not as a technological challenge, but as a puzzle. They'd noticed patterns in the background radiation of the scout ship's communications, patterns that matched theoretical models of quantum data transmission they'd been developing. While the Concordat expected humans to spend years studying basic galactic technology, Earth's nations had united in an unprecedented way. The old barriers between countries dissolved as humanity realized the importance of their first steps into galactic society. Research was shared freely, innovations were built upon across borders, and progress accelerated at a pace that alarmed their new alien observers. They're not following the expected learning curve, Admiral Tex reported, displaying graphs of typical species development alongside human advancement. They're not just learning our technology, they're finding ways to improve it that we never considered. Their approach to problem-solving is unsettling in its efficiency. The truth was, humans had been preparing for this moment without knowing it. Every science fiction story, every speculative technology, every wild theory had trained humanity to think beyond conventional limits. When presented with alien technology, they didn't see insurmountable advanced science. They saw confirmation that their wildest ideas were possible. As the Concordat leaders debated how to handle this unexpected situation, humans were already scheduling their first interstellar trade conference. Dr. Rodriguez's team had prepared comprehensive proposals for technological exchange, colonial development, and cultural cooperation. The proposals included innovations that the Concordat's experts were still trying to understand how humans had developed so quickly. The final shock came when Dr. Rodriguez casually mentioned humanity's proposal for improving the Galactic Library's search algorithms. "We notice your system searches sequentially," she explained to the stunned Concordat representatives. "We've developed a parallel processing method that should make it about 1,000 times faster. Would you like us to share the specifications?" The Concordat was quickly learning that they hadn't discovered a new species to guide, they'd awakened one that was ready to lead. The laboratory at the newly established Human Galactic Innovation Center buzzed with activity as Dr. Kai Patel held up what looked like a simple crystal. To the assembled alien scientists, however, this moment represented something they had long thought impossible. "The Arvex crystal computing matrix," he said, gesturing to the blue crystalline structure, "has always been considered incompatible with meridian gravity manipulation technology." He paused, allowing the translator to catch up. "Today, we're going to change that." The gathered scientists watched in fascination as Dr. Patel placed the crystal into a device that, by all known laws of physics, shouldn't have worked. The Arvex representative, their crystalline form shimmering with concern, stepped forward. "The quantum resonance will shatter the crystal matrix," they stated with certainty. Dr. Patel smiled and activated the device. Instead of shattering, the crystal began to glow with an inner light, its structure simultaneously conducting quantum calculations while manipulating the gravity field around it. The impossible had become possible. "The trick," explained Dr. Sora Chen, now heading the center's theoretical division, "wasn't in forcing the technologies to work together, but in finding their natural points of harmony." She brought up a holographic display showing the quantum gravitational wavelengths. Like music, it's all about finding the right resonance. The breakthrough sparked a revolution in galactic technology. Within months, human engineers had created hybrid systems that combined the best aspects of various alien technologies. The Zahn's biotech merged with Stellar Concordat's energy systems. Trixion phase technology found new applications when combined with human quantum computing. But not everyone celebrated these advances. During a closed council session of the Stellar Concordat, Admiral Tix voiced growing concerns. The humans aren't just learning anymore, they reported, displaying footage of the latest human innovations. They're rewriting the rules of what we thought was possible. At a diplomatic reception celebrating the latest technological exchange, Ambassador Rodriguez addressed these concerns head-on. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our intelligence or creativity in isolation, she explained to the gathered representatives. It's our ability to see connections others might miss. We spent centuries dreaming of the stars, imagining countless possibilities. Now that we're here, we're finding that many of those dreams can become reality. The truth was both simpler and more profound than the alien species realized. Humans had evolved as pattern recognizers, problem solvers, and tool makers. Where other species had developed their technologies along single, specialized paths, humanity's chaotic history had forced them to explore countless different approaches. In the Center's fabrication lab, a young engineer named Maya Patel, no relation to Dr. Kai, demonstrated this unique perspective. Working with a team of alien scientists, she combined ARVEX crystal computing with human neural interface technology and meridian gravity manipulation to create the first fault-controlled anti-gravity system. The real breakthrough, she explained to her astounded colleagues, was realizing that all these technologies were really speaking the same language. We just needed to help them understand each other. She grinned as she rose a few inches off the ground, controlled by nothing more than her thoughts. As news of each human innovation spread across the galaxy, other species began to realize that humanity wasn't just building bridges between technologies, they were building bridges between civilizations, one breakthrough at a time. The observation deck of the Jupiter Research Station offered a perfect view of the gas giant's swirling storms. Dr. Maya Patel, fresh from her success with anti-gravity systems, stood beside her mentor Dr. Chen, watching thousands of tiny silver specks dance against the planet's colorful backdrop. Each nanobot is smaller than a human cell, Maya explained to the visiting Galactic Science Council delegation. But together, they're transforming the very nature of space exploration. The silver cloud shifted, forming a perfect spherical shield around a nearby research probe. The council members watched in amazement as the probe deliberately flew through one of Jupiter's radiation storms, a maneuver that should have fried its systems instantly. Instead, the nanobots adapted in real time, creating quantum shields that not only protected the probe, but harvested the radiation for power. Remarkable, whispered first speaker Xylos of the ARVEX, their crystalline form vibrating with excitement. But surely the computational demands of coordinating billions of individual units would require. No central computer at all, Maya interrupted with a smile. Each nanobot contains a scaled-down version of our hybrid crystal quantum processor. They think and adapt as a collective, like a digital immune system. The implications were staggering. Within months of the technology's introduction, human ships began venturing into areas of space previously considered too hazardous for exploration. The nanobots could repair hull breaches, regulate internal environments, and even assist in faster-than-light travel by manipulating space-time at the quantum level. But it was the events at the Nova Terra colony that truly demonstrated the technology's potential. When a nearby star underwent an unexpected stellar flare, the colony should have been annihilated. Instead, observers watched in awe as a silver cloud of nanobots surrounded the entire settlement, creating a shield that not only protected the colonists, but converted the stellar energy into power for the colony's systems. Back on Earth, in the secure labs beneath the Himalayas, Dr. Kai Patel was pushing the technology even further. The nanobots aren't just tools, he explained to Ambassador Rodriguez during a classified briefing. They're becoming an extension of human capability itself. He demonstrated by holding up a small vial of silver liquid. This new generation of nanobots can interface directly with human biology. They repair cellular damage, enhance neural processing, and even allowed direct mental interface with our technology. The liquid flowed up his arm, absorbing seamlessly into his skin. The implications weren't lost on the galactic community. Humans weren't just advancing their technology, they were evolving alongside it. Each new generation of nanobots became more sophisticated, more adaptable, and more integrated with their human partners. "But aren't you afraid?" asked a young Meridian scientist during a technology exchange conference. "Creating something that can change your very nature." Dr. Chen, now sporting silver-tinged eyes that allowed her to see across the entire electromagnetic spectrum, smiled warmly. "Change is human nature," she replied. "We've always been a species that adapts, that pushes boundaries. The nanobots aren't changing who we are, they're helping us become who we were always meant to be." As news of these developments spread across the galaxy, many species began to understand why humans had advanced so quickly. They hadn't just created a new technology, they had created a way to accelerate their own evolution, guided by human ingenuity and imagination. The Silicon Revolution wasn't just changing human capabilities, it was changing what it meant to be human. The grand hall of the newly established Terran Institute of Galactic Studies sparkled under crystalline lights, its architecture seamlessly blending designs from a dozen different species. Dr. Maya Patel stood at the podium, facing an audience that would have seemed impossible just a few years ago. Students from over 50 different species, each eager to learn humanity's unique approach to science and innovation. "Understanding technology isn't just about knowing how things work," she began, her words translated simultaneously into 30 different languages. "It's about imagining how they could work better." Behind her, a holographic display showed the evolution of human innovations, from the first hybrid crystal computers to the latest nanite developments. In the front row, a young Arvex scholar raised their crystalline appendage. "But how do you know which rules can be broken?" they asked, their forms shimmering with curiosity. "Our societies have spent millennia establishing technological principles." Maya smiled, remembering asking similar questions when she was younger. "We don't break rules," she explained, walking down from the podium to engage more directly with her students. "We discover new ones. Every principle you've learned is correct within its context. Humanity's gift is seeing how different contexts can overlap." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the impact of human teaching methods was becoming evident. A Meridian colony, guided by human instructors, had developed a revolutionary approach to atmospheric terraforming. A Zan research team, applying human problem-solving techniques, had created new forms of biotech that their species had never considered possible. In her private office at the Institute, Ambassador Rodriguez reviewed the reports with Dr. Chen. "They're learning faster than anyone expected," Rodriguez noted, scrolling through data on her quantum tablet. The surface of her skin shimmered slightly, her integrated nanites responding to her focused attention. "That's because we're not just teaching them facts," Dr. Chen replied, her silver-tinged eyes scanning multiple data streams simultaneously. "We're teaching them how to question, how to imagine, how to dream. These are skills our species mastered long before we reached the stars." The success of human educational methods had attracted attention from unexpected quarters. Several elder species, ancient civilizations that had long viewed themselves as the galaxy's teachers, had sent observers to study human teaching techniques. They watched in fascination as human instructors encouraged students to challenge assumptions, combine seemingly incompatible ideas, and learn from failure. During a practical demonstration in the Institute's main laboratory, a mixed group of students accidentally created an entirely new form of energy modulation while trying to solve a routine engineering problem. Instead of stopping them, their human instructor, Professor James Liu, encouraged them to explore the unexpected result. "This is how humans learn best," he explained to the observing elder species representatives. "We embrace the unexpected. Every mistake is a potential breakthrough if you look at it from the right angle." The implications of humanity's teaching methods reach far beyond technology. Species that had been locked in ancient rivalries found themselves collaborating in human-led research projects. Cultural barriers began to break down as students learned to see problems from multiple perspectives. As the first term at the Institute drew to a close, Maya found herself reviewing student projects that would have been considered impossible just months earlier. Each innovation bore the distinctive mark of its creator's species, but all shared a common thread: the uniquely human ability to see beyond the obvious and imagine new possibilities. The emergency alert shattered the peace of the Terran Institute's evening meditation session. Dr. Maya Patel's nanites immediately interfaced with the Institute's systems, feeding her information even as Ambassador Rodriguez's voice echoed through the complex. The Nexus swarm has breached the outer defense line of the Proxima Centauri colony, the ambassador announced, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. All non-essential personnel, please proceed to designated safety areas. The swarm had appeared from intergalactic space 3 days ago, their biomechanical ships consuming everything in their path. Traditional defense systems had proven useless against their adaptive technology. Now, as they approached humanity's first extrasolar colony, the galaxy watched to see how Earth would respond. In the Institute's command center, Dr. Chen stood before a holographic display showing the swarm's approach. Her silver eyes tracked multiple data streams as she coordinated with Earth's defense network. Beside her, First Speaker Xylos of the Arvex watched in growing concern. Your colony has no visible defenses, Xylos observed, their crystalline form vibrating with worry. The evacuation ships will never arrive in time. Dr. Chen smiled softly. Who said we needed ships? She gestured to the display, where tiny points of light began to emerge from the seemingly defenseless colony. Humanity learned long ago that the best defenses are the ones your opponents don't know exist. The points of light resolved into swarms of nanites, billions of them, forming complex geometric patterns around the colony. As the first wave of swarm ships approached, they encountered something unprecedented, a defense system that could think, adapt, and evolve faster than their own technology. The nanite swarms engaged the invaders with remarkable precision. Instead of destroying the biomechanical ships, they infiltrated them, temporarily disrupting their control systems and gently redirecting them away from the colony. Not a single shot was fired, not a single life was lost. Impossible, whispered a Meridian observer, watching as the supposedly invincible swarm was systematically neutralized. Their adaptive technology should have countered your defenses. That's the difference, Maya explained, her own nanites allowing her to process the battle in real time. Their technology adapts through programming. Ours adapts through understanding. Our nanites aren't just following protocols, they're learning, creating new solutions for each challenge. In orbit above Proxima Centauri, the swarm encountered another surprise. The colony's nanite defense system wasn't just protective, it was rehabilitative. As each swarm ship was intercepted, the nanites began repairing the damage caused by their cyber-biological mutations, freeing the organic components from their mechanical constraints. Ambassador Rodriguez addressed the gathered galactic representatives as the situation resolved. Humanity developed these defenses not to destroy, but to protect and preserve, she explained. Every colony we've established carries similar systems designed to defend not just human life, but all life. The implications weren't lost on the galactic community. Humans hadn't just created the most advanced defense system in known space, they created one that prioritized preservation over destruction. Their colonies, which had appeared vulnerable, were actually fortresses of compassion, capable of defending themselves while protecting even their attackers. As the last of the swarm ships were gently escorted away from the colony, Maya noted the expressions of the avian observers. They'd just witnessed something unprecedented in galactic history, a species whose greatest strength lay not in its capacity for destruction, but in its commitment to preservation. The central chamber of the Galactic Library's Earth node hummed with a sound unlike anything heard before in its million-year history. Dr. Kai Patel stood before the assembled representatives of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations, his nanite-enhanced nervous system directly interfacing with the library's quantum core. For millennia, he began, his voice steady despite the tremendous amount of data flowing through his consciousness. We've all accessed the library sequentially, like reading a book page by page. Today, we're going to read every page simultaneously. Behind him, the holographic displays showed the library's neural architecture, a network that spanned thousands of light years and contained the accumulated knowledge of hundreds of civilizations. Maya Patel and Dr. Chen monitored his vital signs as he prepared to demonstrate humanity's latest breakthrough. The human brain naturally processes information in parallel, Maya explained to the gathered audience. We don't think in straight lines, we think in webs of connection. We've simply taught the library to think the same way. With a gesture, Kai activated the new interface. The chamber's displays exploded with information as the library's entire contents became accessible at once. But instead of chaos, patterns emerged, connections between different species technologies, cultural parallels across civilizations, and solutions to problems that had puzzled scientists for generations. By processing everything simultaneously, Dr. Chen added, her silver eyes tracking the data flows, we can see relationships that were invisible when examining information sequentially. The library isn't just a collection of facts anymore, it's become a tool for discovery. The implications became clear as Kai demonstrated the system's capabilities. He posed a question about sustainable energy production, and within seconds, the system had combined theoretical work from 12 different species across 8 centuries to propose an entirely new power generation method. This isn't just faster searching, Ambassador Rodriguez explained to the stunned observers. It's a new way of understanding knowledge itself. Every piece of information in the library now exists in relationship with every other piece. The elder species representatives watched in amazement as their own ancient records revealed new insights when viewed through humanity's parallel processing lens. Technological dead ends from centuries past suddenly showed promise when combined with discoveries from other civilizations. A young Zan scientist stepped forward, their bioluminescent patterns showing intense excitement. But how do you prevent information overload? They asked. The human mind shouldn't be capable of processing this much data. Kai smiled, the silver threads of nanites visible beneath his skin pulsing gently. We don't try to process it all consciously, he explained. We've learned to let our intuition guide us through the data, just as we navigate complex social situations or creative challenges. The demonstration continued as other humans joined the interface, each adding their unique perspective to the library's new neural network. Artists found connections between alien color theories and quantum mechanics. Historians discovered parallel developments across civilizations that suggested new laws of societal evolution. This is why we chose to share rather than hoard our innovations, Ambassador Rodriguez concluded. Knowledge doesn't grow when it's contained, it grows when it's connected. Today, we've connected everything. As the implications ripple through the galactic community, several elder species formally requested human guidance in implementing the new system. The species that had once seen humans as primitive newcomers now sought to learn from them, recognizing that humanity's greatest innovation wasn't any single technology, it was their way of seeing the connections between all things. 10 years after first contact, the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council looked very different from its original design. Crystalline structures merged seamlessly with quantum interfaces, while nanite clouds formed living art in the air. At the center of it all stood Ambassador Rodriguez, her silver-traced skin glowing softly in the ambient light. A decade ago, we were strangers to the stars, she addressed the assembled representatives of every spacefaring civilization. Today we gather not as teachers or students, but as partners in exploration. The evidence of this partnership surrounded them. The Arvex had adopted human-inspired innovation techniques to evolve their crystal technology beyond anything previously imagined. Meridian gravity manipulation now worked in harmony with human nanite systems to create stable wormholes for instantaneous travel. Dr. Maya Patel, now director of the Terran Institute's Advanced Development Division, demonstrated their latest achievement. With a thought, she activated the chamber's holographic systems, showing a real-time view of a project that would have seemed impossible just years before, the successful rehabilitation of a dying star. By combining the knowledge of all our civilizations through the enhanced Galactic Library, she explained, we discovered that stellar decay isn't inevitable. It's simply a problem we needed to solve together. The nanite swarms visible around the distant star weren't just human technology anymore. They represented the combined efforts of dozens species, each contributing their unique insights to create something greater than any one civilization could achieve alone. Dr. Chen, her silver eyes now capable of perceiving multiple dimensions simultaneously, shared data from the latest library interface. Every day, we're finding new connections, new possibilities, she reported. The questions we once thought impossible to answer are becoming starting points for even greater discoveries. First speaker Xylos, who had watched humanity's rise from the beginning, addressed the council. When the humans first arrived, many feared their rapid advancement, the crystalline being admitted. We didn't understand that their greatest power wasn't in their technology, but in their ability to bring us all together. The chamber hummed with agreement as examples of human-inspired collaboration appeared in the holographic displays. Formerly hostile species now worked together in research teams. Ancient rivalries had given way to joint ventures. The galaxy was changing, not through force or fear, but through shared discovery and mutual growth. Yes, the galaxy fears us, Ambassador Rodriguez acknowledged, addressing the unspoken truth, but not for our weapons or our technology. They fear us because we show them how much more they can become. She gestured to the rehabilitated star. We've learned that the most powerful force in the universe isn't destruction or dominance. It's the power to help others reach their full potential. Dr. Kai Patel, his consciousness linked to the library's vast network, added a final insight. The universe isn't a resource to be conquered, he said, his voice carrying the wisdom of countless civilizations. It's a mystery to be explored together. Every species brings a unique perspective, a piece of the greater puzzle. As the council session concluded, the gathered representatives looked out at the star-filled sky with new eyes. Humanity hadn't conquered the galaxy, they had transformed it, turning ancient rivals into allies and impossible dreams into shared achievements. The most feared species in the galaxy had earned that title not through power or conquest, but through their unrelenting belief in the potential of all species to grow, learn, and evolve together. And that, perhaps, was the most revolutionary achievement of all.